Buongiorno and good morning here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza for this, the final day of competition for the 2019 GT Cup Open Europe Championship. Scott Woodward's here to guide you through all the action of the final qualifying session of 2019. Air temperature and track temperature are roughly around the same. The humidity is almost 60%. And this is crucial because after the events of yesterday, particularly seeing the championship leader Hans-Peter Koller retire right here at the first chicane on the first lap, it's all to play for the championship overall, with 3 points between Hans-Peter Koller and Niki Leutwiler, who took second place yesterday. It was this car on screen that took the victory yesterday. JP Mauro and Rodolfo Toni, the Brazilian pairing in the Vincenzo Sospiri Racing Lamborghini, but it was their teammates that hit strife, and they're going to have to work hard, particularly starting this morning in the qualifying session. So 20 minutes out there to set the fastest time possible. It is the allocated second drivers that will be out to set times, and then they will start the race and hand over to their allocated first drivers for the second half of the stint. Now, why that's a bonus for the number 6 Vincenzo Sospiri Lamborghini is because that means that Eduardo Liberati, who is arguably the fastest man in the championship ever since he joined back at the Hungaroring to partner up Hans-Peter Koller, he is the man that will qualify the car, and knowing how quick he is, it's more than likely that he will be a favourite to take pole position. Don't count out their teammates though, because it will be Rodolfo Toni that qualifies that car. Niki Leutwiler runs solo, so he will be out in his number 22 Porsche in what will be his final race in GT Cup Open before he and his TFT racing team move up into GT Open next year with a Porsche 911 GT3, which is good to see, so we wish them all the best for GT Open next season. And in terms of the class titles, we have Pro-Am and Am class titles. From what I understand, the Am class title is effectively sealed up, with Niki Leutwiler claiming that yesterday. As for the Pro-Am category, it looks to me as if, because we had no finishes from either Hans-Peter Koller or indeed Lino and Carlo Curti in the number 81 Porsche, just here in the middle of the shot, just in behind the number 19 Eugenio Pizzani and Stefano Buzzoni Porsche, then that means possibly that class title is settled as well. Here's a car which is making a guest appearance this weekend. This is the Monte Carlo Tecno Nanni Galli, and this is a very special car that's been put together by the Fulvio Maria, and he is the man behind the brains of this. He's also sharing the car this weekend with David Fuminelli, and that car has a 4-litre Alfa Romeo V8. If you did look at it, it has got something of a Maserati MC12 about it, doesn't it? But it's a fantastic looking car, and we're very privileged to have it in the championship for this weekend, making its debut. There is Niki Leutwiler, a second place yesterday after a fighting drive, initially from pole position, but then was passed before the pit stops by JP Mauro, and then in the pit stops they had to fight their way back through to second place, but they pulled off some good moves in the process. So coming into this race weekend, here are the points right on time, actually. So 102 points for Hans-Peter Koller, just 3 behind is Niki Leutwiler. Effectively, if Koller and Leutwiler were to win the race today, and Niki Leutwiler was to be second, that would be champion, obviously. Even if it was the other way around, so Leutwiler wins the race and Hans-Peter Koller is second, that would leave them equal on points. But it would mean that because Koller has a greater number of wins, with 6 to his name this season, that would give him the title. Here's one of the main rivals in the AM Championship for Niki Leutwiler, Glauco Solieri. According to my points calculations on the points table, initially it would suggest that it's not wrapped up, although I have seen the reports that it is. So, no, sorry, I'm correct, it is. It is wrapped up because it's 10 points for a win, and the gap is now 16, so it's more than done for Niki Leutwiler to win that title. Here is Faust Salom in the Teo Martin Motorsport McLaren 570S. And they'll be hoping for a strong result today. It was a decent run yesterday for their teammates, Tiago Vivacqua and Mark De Fulgencio. They picked up a very strong result. I'll remind myself of that result in a second once I bring it up on the screen. So it was a win yesterday, as we said, for JP Mauro and Rodolfo Toni. It was Jean Font, my apologies, Jean Font was actually up into second place because Niki Leutwiler actually was given a 2-second penalty for overtaking track limits. So I have to confess I didn't spot that, but overnight. So Jean Font actually picking up and equaling his best result that car and he scored in the first race at Barcelona in those very changeable conditions. So of course, that's increased the points total by quite a bit more. So, of course, that's why we've got a 3-point gap coming into this final race. So Mark Fulgenzi and Thiago Vivacqua picked up 4th place. And then the Bapora Motorsport Audi R8 of Daniel Diaz Varela and the Andorran Manuel Cicada picking up the top 5. Also a strong run yesterday for another team debuting in the championship, which was the Cedars-Lau Racing team from Belgium and their Italian duo of Lorenzo Bontempelli, who qualifies the car this morning, and Luciano Linossi, who will take that car over in the second stint. So the first couple of flying laps coming through, and already this car is on provisional pole. So Faust Salom at the wheel of the number 18 Teo Martin Motorsport McLaren, nicely gliding his way through the Ascari chicane. It is a little bit cloudier this morning than it was yesterday, as you see Nicky Leutwiler and Manuel Cicada just keeping to the side of the road, keeping out of the way. We've seen that a few times in a couple of the championships this year, but particularly in Euro Formula Open this weekend, seeing drivers sort of moving off and trying to find their own piece of real estate on track. Up to second fastest already has gone the number 2 Sports and New Mercedes, and that's the Marcia Basso car, which he would normally share with Guillaume Salas, but Guillaume is actually competing in GT Open this week, in TCR Europe, forgive me, this weekend, and that means he's had to draw in another co-driver. So Jose Pedro Fontes is the man alongside him in that car, a man from Portugal, and currently second quickest under 2 minutes 3.526. But I suspect that the 1:57.660 is the only really proper representative time of pace at the moment in this point in the session. At the moment, Jose Pedro Fontes has gone quickest in the middle sector, so he may well bring that car onto the pit straight and potentially into provisional pole at this early stage. Across the line goes Fontes, and in he goes second, so he actually lost quite a bit of time in the final sector. He did a 40.7 in sector 3. Across the line goes Rodolfo Toni and puts the number 27 Lamborghini into 3rd fastest and on AM class pole. Franco Solieri currently second on that class as well. But now it's changed again because Fernando Fortes, number 32 Mercedes, has also popped up into 3rd quickest and on AM pole as a result. You just saw him flash up in the background with lights ablaze on the number 32 Mercedes, which is being run this season by the 360 Racing team. Lorenzo Bontempelli has gone ahead and put the 31 Cedars-Lau Racing Mercedes up to 5th fastest, and Carlo Curti has put the number 81 Tsunami RT Porsche into 2nd fastest now, 1:57.729. So a few representative times coming in though. One car to watch though is going to be Edoardo Liberati, who, just as I spot him on the times, goes up to the top of the time sheets as Nicky Leutwiler does the first chicane shuffle through the escape road, round the boards, and away he goes. So Edoardo Liberati, as kind of expected by some people I'm guessing, has gone to the top of the times with fastest middle and final sectors, 1:57.431 to put the number 6 Lamborghini crucially on pole position for this season finale. As we now continue to watch Jose Pedro Fontes. Now he's actually lapping very quickly indeed at the moment. He's got the fastest first sector of anyone, a personal best middle sector. It's currently showing that he's up by 1.6 seconds. But we'll see how true that is when he comes towards the timing line. Joan Font has put the Bapora Motorsport Porsche into 2nd place with a 1:57.584. So he's a 10th and a half off the provisional pole time, currently set by Edoardo Liberati, but he's going to have that time deleted for track limits cutting at turn 4, which will be, I think, the entrance into the Roger chicane, as Jose Pedro Fontes puts the number 2 Mercedes up to provisional pole with a cracking lap of 1:56.212. And Rodolfo Toni follows him into 2nd place, 1:56.767. So the Mercedes then on pole position. Now that car has had a win this year at the 2nd race at Hungaroring, and that was at the wheel that we had Marcio Basso and Guillaume Salas. Here is Edoardo Liberati. He is on a flyer at the moment, fastest in the speed trap. He was until Fernando Fortes took that claim away, but he is fastest in sectors 1 and 2. So once again, Edoardo Liberati, who always seems to just find some crazy amount of pace out of this car, is making his way out of Parabolica to end the lap. It looks as though it's on course to be pole position provisionally, but by how much? With half the session left to go. Across the line comes Liberati, and he's on provisional pole. Goodness me, what a lap! 1:53.564. That is an absolute flyer. An incredible lap from Edoardo Liberati. I know he said he's the fastest man in the championship, but that really is proving it. He's currently 2.6 seconds clear of anyone in this qualifying session. A stunning lap from Liberati. and at a crucial time in the championship when they need every point they can get to hold off Nicky Leutwiler. So that really has started off the day well for Vincenzo Sospiri Racing, with both of their cars now in the top 3, as Rodolfo Tony is now 3rd fastest, and he's going quicker again. He's fastest in the first sector. He's done a 35.942, and he really isn't messing around this morning, is he? He's going for it at the moment. And now that he's laid down the gauntlet, his challenge is now, come on boys and girls, beat that one. And he's going for it. Out of Lesmo 1, under brakes for Lesmo 2. Nice and tidy. Nice and tidy. It doesn't look dramatic, but usually the less dramatic the car looks, the faster it usually is. Because if it looks flamboyant and sideways, it's only going to cost you time. Through Curva di Seraglio, underneath the old circuit, underneath the banked oval, which they've been used for a while. Liberati goes quickest now. Eduardo Liberati goes quickest, or he goes to second fastest, my apologies. They've got the two L's mixed up, so 155.456. Don't get too excited, Scott. So 155.456. So he's into second place, so the two main championship contending cars are on the front row provisionally, but crucially, there's a 1.8 second pace difference, as yet again, with Liberati, he's now almost 3/10 up on his fastest time so far. If he can nail the last couple of corners, particularly through Parabolica, how close is he going to get to possibly dipping into the 152s? It's a possibility if he finds a bit more time. Across the line goes Liberati. How much faster does he go? He goes to 152. He does manage it. 152.968. He's into the 152s, and it now brings his pole margin out to 2.4, nearly 2.5 seconds. Astonishing pace from Eduardo Liberati, who just keeps on pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap. Whether it's qualifying, whether it's the race, he just seems to be able to turn it on and just absolutely hit the sweet spot on every corner, every apex, every braking point when it counts. We just saw a glimpse of the Monte Carlo Techno Nanni Galli coming onto the pit lane. That was the number 4 car. As Leutwiler continues to try and improve his time, it's Fulvio Maria Belabio at the wheel of the Monte Carlo. As Leutwiler now at the moment is on a personal best, as Joan Font has gone to second quickest now, 155.443, only a fraction faster than Leutwiler to nudge the Swiss driver off the front row. Out of Parabolica comes the Porsche. And Eduardo Liberati's going quicker again. You can see at the bottom of the screen, he's now gone up in the first sector, somehow, by nearly a quarter of a second. He's up nearly 4/10 in the second sector, as Leutwiler goes to second again, 154.695. But I have to say, this is astonishing from Eduardo Liberati, and I do not apologise for getting overexcited about it, because when you've got someone going that quickly compared to everyone else in the field, it really is astonishing. And here he is, up towards Parabolica. And this will be like his 3rd fastest lap in a row, continually lowering the benchmark. So I think he's certainly sending out a message that this title isn't going anywhere other than Hans Petter Koller, and he's certainly playing his part to a T. Across the line goes Liberati. How much faster does he go? By another half a second. He's now, again, 2.2 seconds up on pole position. You can hear the circuit commentator getting excited in the background as well, as he heads back into the chicane, and I wonder, is it possibly going to be a 4th fastest lap of the session if he can manage it? He certainly isn't showing any signs of slowing down and backing off towards the pits. He is absolutely on it. That number 6 Lamborghini seems to have a perfect setup for Liberati's liking. It's got a little bit of traffic. The Carlo Curti Porsche and the number 31 Mercedes into the first sector. He's not up on the first sector, but he's close though. Out of the Roger chicane, nice and tidy on the run towards Lesmo 1. There's a tiny bit of gravel on the road where someone's kicked it up by running a little too wide. Through the first Lesmo. Improvements for Nicky Leutwiler on this lap. What about Jose Pedro Fontes? Was at one point the fastest car at the beginning of the session, but he's now down to 6th, but he's on a personal best. He set the personal best in sector 1. An okay second sector. He's 1.4 seconds off. Can he move himself up, possibly up from the 3rd row of the grid? The answer is yes, not quite. I thought he was going to, but he's actually up to 5th position. Leutwiler comes across the line and does improve his time, but he's still 2 seconds off provisional pole. Here's Marc de Fulgencio, the Spanish driver at the wheel of the Teo Martin McLaren, and he's now, interestingly, on a personal best, and he's only 5 thousandths off the fastest first sector set by Eduardo Liberati, who really needs to stop this because he's now done the fastest middle sector yet again, a 38.0. So he's on it once more. I don't know whether or not he's going to be able to lower the benchmark time even further. It's a 152.441. So we're watching De Fulgencio, although it's showing me here as he does lower it by another couple of tenths. So he's now onto 152.286 is Liberati. The gap's now 2.1 seconds. De Fulgencio has done an okay personal best middle sector, and it's showing he was slightly up in the first sector. I'm not quite sure about that because the timing screen on the TV shows me he's up by 37 thousandths, but on the timing screen I've got here, it shows that it was a personal best for him. So into the Parabolica comes the McLaren. He's currently 4th fastest, as Faust Salom had gone up to 3rd quickest. So both of the McLarens running well at the latter part of this session. Uses all the exit curb and the runoff through Parabolica onto the pit straight to hit the timing line. Where does this lap put him, if anywhere? He goes up to 2nd. That's a front row slot provisionally for Marc De Fulgencio. That's really good form for the McLarens. 2nd and 4th at the moment. So good performance. We were saying all weekend, predominantly in International GT Open, but also to a certain extent by the looks of things, particularly from what they may have done to the cars overnight, that the McLarens are particularly quick around Monza. And they are certainly showing it this morning in qualifying. And certainly with the 4th place, which this car scored yesterday, I think it could have been better for their teammates in car number 18, but they had some problems, I think, with pace towards the bottom of the top 10. They couldn't really make up that much time. So just over 3 minutes to go. Eduardo Liberati still on pole by a fraction over 2 seconds, which is astonishing pace once again from Eduardo. And that effectively is all the right things that he needs to do in order to put Hans Pederkola into the right position. Now, it's showing he's done the fastest first sector, so we said the McLaren's had some pace. He's certainly proving it. 4th fastest. It's actually because he's been dropped down by both Nicky Luttweiler and also Manuel Cicada, so the Vaporo Motorsport Audi's also running well. 3rd quickest for them. Manuel's managed to find some pace with a personal best in all 3 sectors. The Fulgencio at the end of the 2nd sector has now dropped from being a 10th and a half up to almost a 2nd down, so the middle sector is really where Liberati found all the time. And he's still circulating, but he's simply just backed off a little bit to conserve what's left of the car. You can see De Fulgencio sticking to the right-hand side of the circuit, which becomes the inside of the track as he runs towards Parabolica. Under brakes, down a couple of gears, early apex, and the track just opens up on the exit as he keeps his foot on the floor. And the run to the line now, is he going to be able to improve? He's currently 4th. And that time keeps him 4th, but he does improve his time, 154.366. So 4:42, that was the time set by Cicada just in front of him. So fairly close for the battle for 2nd place downwards. There's only a minute and 45 to go. And incredibly, the 2nd down to 9th are covered by less than a second. So very competitive qualifying session to round off the 2019 season. There's the Monte Carlo Techno Nani Galley, which is just finding its feet. It's currently at the moment its fastest time is a 2:18.031, but I suspect it's probably because we've got David Fumanelli back in the pit lane, and the Fulvio Maria Balabio is the one at the wheel of that car, showcasing what it can do. Across the line comes Manuel Cicada, fastest first sector, personal best 2nd sector, and does improve the time, move up to 2nd place. So the Audi puts itself provisionally on the front row with a minute to go in this qualifying session. Fastest first sector of a 35.5. Now, I'm guessing that may have been with an aid of a tow, but either way, it certainly shows that the Audi's very capable. And so, got 2 V10 power cars. Cicada hangs the tail out just a little bit on the exit from the Resifidio and through Curva Grande. This was his last flying lap. So Nicky Luttweiler has got to try and do something, but on this current lap, he's actually he's about 7 tenths off the fastest first sector. So you may have to settle for 3rd place on this last lap. It is a personal best in the 2nd sector for Marc De Fulgencio. Faust Salom goes up to 3rd fastest with his 2nd to last effort, unless he goes for one more, because he's done a personal best in the 1st and last sectors. And there's a 154.080 to go 3rd fastest. So the McLarens again working very well this morning, 3rd and 5th in qualifying. As Cicada pounds the Vaporo Audi out of the 2nd Lesmo. He's got the other Vincenzo Sospiri Lamborghini. Car 10, just showing the time on the screen for a second. There's the checkered flag goes out on the session. And Let's see if anyone else can improve. Marc de Fulgencio has put the second McLaren up into third place, so it's actually second and third now. So the two McLarens have moved up, and actually car 10, which is Manuel Sequeira's, had his time deleted for track limits at turn 10. That'll certainly be track limits as well out of the Ascari chicane. So it now puts both of the McLarens up to second and third, which is very interesting. Marc de Fulgencio's last lap was good enough to put him up to second place, and the last lap for Salom, who's actually on it now, he's on a personal best in sector 1. I don't think he's going to get provisional pole, but it certainly should cement, I think, arguably the best result in qualifying collectively for the two McLarens. Across the line goes Sequeira, who I don't think, if he does go quicker, will hold the time, because he did run very wide on the exit. He does go to second, but I'll wait and see if that stands, because he was very wide on the exit of Ascari chicane, and he has at a time already deleted for track limits at that corner. So Salom is on a quick lap at the moment. He's currently at the moment 9/10, almost a second off, but if he can pull off that time, he could put him back into second place on the times anyway. But there's your provisional pole sitter. Not particularly on a fast lap, just bringing the number 6 Lamborghini back into the pit lane after what's been another astonishing qualifying performance, pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap. And if that doesn't put him in the prime position to help Hans-Peter Koller seal the Pro-Am and overall titles, I seriously don't know what is. So into pit lane comes Edoardo Liberati. Last efforts from everyone on track at the moment. Salom does improve his time and he stays third. Marc de Fulgencio is on a personal best in the second sector as well. His first sector was fairly quick, 35.7, but it's not a personal best for him. There are a couple of the cars going and they're going a couple of tenths quicker. That's just how precise Edoardo Liberati was with that fastest lap, 152.103. And it puts him on provisional pole by nearly 1.6 seconds. And if that's not ominous for his pace, as we've seen in the Hungaroring, at Silverstone and at Barcelona, I'm not quite sure what is, but that certainly is a fantastic effort. So, provisional results of qualifying, there it is. Liberati puts the number 6 Lamborghini on pole by, as we said, 1.6 seconds effectively. Manuel Sequeira will line up provisionally on the front row of the grid in the Vapouro Audi. It's a Teo Martin McLaren second row. Great effort from Salom and Marc de Fulgencio to put both those cars in third and fourth respectively. Niki Leutwiler, crucially, is back in fifth with work to do from row 3. He'll be alongside yesterday's race winner Rodolfo Toni in the second Vincenzo Sospiri Lamborghini. Carlo Curti in the Tsunami Porsche is 7th. Fernando Fortes 8th for 360 Racing. Joan Font is back in 9th after he scored a podium yesterday. And Jose Pedro Fontes in the Sports and New Mercedes will have to start from 10th place. 11th is Lorenzo Bontempelli in the Sellers La Mercedes. And Glauco Solieri really back in 12th. A lot of work to do for him. Very disappointing qualifying session. Then Eugenio Pizzani and Fulvio Maria Balabio, who will start the Monte Carlo Alfa Romeo for the race later on.
Edoardo Liberati, pole position at home in Monza after a difficult Saturday for your car. You must be happy.
Yeah, that's what we need today. We need to try to win the race, or at least to be in front of our main contender, which yesterday was on podium, was P3. So now the fight for the title is really tight. We need to stay calm, relax, and not do any mistake.
It's the best way to start a decisive day like that.
Yeah, for sure. Pole position is always the best position, the best spot to start. So let's get a good race.
Thank you. All the best. Ciao.
I think we can all agree that was certainly a much better day than yesterday. So that sets the grid for race 2 later on. The final race of 2019. Is the title going to go the way of Hans-Peter Koller? Let's wait and see. Join us for the final race this afternoon with myself, Scott Woodward, and from all of us here at Monza. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later for the season finale. Bye for now.